And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have a magnificent guest with us tonight, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than our brother all the way out on the West Coast from San Diego, California, now in Las Vegas, Nevada, brother Wali. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam, sir. How
Yes,
have you
sir.
doing?
Thank you. Man, I'm honored, sir. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come have a conversation with us on the People's Podcast. On behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, we are truly humbled and honored. We want to
Thank
get
you.
directly. We want to get directly into it, sir. When is the first time that you heard the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Well, okay, I'm gonna open up. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praises is due forever. Well, I'm born and raised into the nation. My mom and my dad are, my dad is gone. He died in 2014, but my mom is still here. And I'm basically raised in the nation. So ever since I can remember, I've been engulfed with the teachings. From going to the mosque as a kid and getting older, going to the mosque, and so all my life basically.
All praises due to Allah. Yes, sir. Wonderful. Now, when most people grow up in the nation, us who are known affectionately as nation babies, we have to make a decision with whether we are going to accept Islam and or not. What made you accept Islam once you became of age?
Well, trials and tribulations, and
Yes,
running into what I was always being taught. Um, Growing up, I grew up in San Diego, California. In between San Diego and LA, I grew up. My dad and they're originally from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Texas, Dallas, Texas. So we migrated to California, where my dad's side of my family is. Me and my mom going after my dad because he was out there, and just the upbringing that I had in San Diego, being involved in a street gang and going to prison and doing just the trials of life had me noticing that, oh, this is real. Like this is I'm running into everything that I've been taught. You know what I mean? And it only takes one or two like life changing events to make you realize, like, hold on, okay, it's time. But God preserved me to be able to do this, because whatever I did in the streets or whatever, it was from my heart. It wasn't like, it wasn't fake. It was, I thought this what it was, I thought the brotherhood was outside, you know what I mean? That's what I thought, but it wasn't. We were doing the wrong thing. So, but yeah, prison, my last prison term really opened my eyes to, which was in 2003. So I'm 44. And that was my last time in prison. And ever since, I was transitioning into the nation ever since.
All praises due to Allah. Yes, sir. Okay, well, let's go back to the gang life. And what advice would you give to other young people who are watching, who are involved in gang life, and you want to try to give them some advice on how to stay positive?
Well, I say being in the gang, see, we're searching for love. When we go outside and we see these brothers and we want to be a part of what they doing, we're searching for a brotherhood, So when we're doing that, we're not understanding that way of life, the way we're, outside, the way that we're structured as a gang and fighting each other over colors and territory. We start to realize that that's not what we're supposed to be doing in the brotherhood. So me, it took a couple of losses of my friends, watching one of my friends die, take his last breath, and things like that to realize that this is real and it's not a game. And it's like it's like we're playing with our life for what? So I was there's like make a decision if you really want to uh be a part of something, be a part of something that's good. Cause selling drugs, being outside, carrying guns, that's all a setup for us. Everything about that is a setup. It's a big setup. And the brothers that do are that the ones that's outside, that's still gang banging or whatever. A lot of them are just lost, and they don't. They either don't want to change, especially if they're my age. They either don't want to change or they're just lost in their head about something. But I guess like I say, we're searching. Us black people, we be searching for a brotherhood. We search for love. So we think that just being in that gang that we're gonna be, it's gonna be a brotherhood. We think that that's where the love is, but it's really not. So I would just say if you really want to be a part of something, search for something that's organized. Search for something that's gonna be inspiring. That's towards a mission to better our people, our lives, our understanding of why we're even here. Because we're the lost. We're the lost, and we've been stripped of everything: our knowledge, our language, our culture. And when you get older in the teenage years, you really start to think. You start to really think, like, hold on, this is not right. What's going on? But the fun, you ignore it. So you ignore reality so much until something happens. And sometimes people don't get a chance to change. They end up getting killed or they go do life. And they wish that they could have changed because they already had that thought, like, this ain't right. But everybody else is doing it, so I might as well continue to do it. That's a follower. I never was a follower. I was the leader type. And I always told my friends, because like I said, I'm born and raised in it. I always told my friends, like, we're from a whole different type of lineage. Like, we're not supposed to be fighting each other. This is not what it is. But when you lose a friend or a brother or a cousin, to them, some people, it's hard to let that go. It's hard to say, oh no, I don't want to. But the end result is 2 for 1. We end up losing 2 people for one thing, for the ignorance that is what's upon us. So yeah, I would just say, just go search for organization to build.
Yes, sir. Okay, I want to stay right there. And thank you for your honesty and transparency, Brother Wali. We
Yes,
truly
sir.
appreciate it. People are sending you love all around the world. Um, People saying ASA, Walaikum Salam, Sister Moo. Thank you very much to Jonathan Kabi. And thank you everyone who's watching, sending you positive energy. You
Yes, sir.
witnessed one of your friends be unalive, as they say on social media type talk. Uh, could you let us know, take us back and let us know what took place and how did that change you?
Oh, well, that was one of my so I'll give you the short story of it. We were at a park. We were just hanging out at this park until the night fell. And what we would do when it get night, we'll go into our apartments, which is like right around the corner. Hold on, I'm getting a call. Uh-oh. Uh
All right. Well, wow, our brother is taking the call. Thank you to everyone who was watching. Also, thank you for the reminder, Sister Miriam. Everyone to our Facebook family, we will now be moving to YouTube. So everyone who's watching and you want to see us on the People's Podcast, please subscribe to YouTube so you can get the notifications when we are going live. We will have all kind of, usually it's 5 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Eastern every Sunday, but throughout the week, you all will see us live moving forward on random days. So just subscribe to us. Thank you for every like and every share. And we're coming right back to our brother Wali. Hopefully he can, be right here. You got some great stories. Thank you everyone who's watching.
I'm like,
Thank you. Alaikum salam.
okay, sorry, bro.
ASA from Mexico. Thank you to who's watching from Mexico. And thank you for the call, Imu. Yes, sir. And Brother
Sorry, bro.
Wali, is there a way that you can put your phone on Do Not Disturb while we moving forward?
Yes, let me
Okay,
do
cool.
that.
So we let Brother Wali go ahead and put his phone on Do Not Disturb. And shout out to all of the hermanos and amigos and amigas in Mexico. Boom. Uh,
Think I.
Kumo stars to all the Mexicans, people in Mexico. Que pasa? All right, Brother Wali.
All
So we're going
right.
right back to you, sir, with your friend. You at a party, and take your time. We right here with you.
Okay. So yeah, we were at a park, and we were leaving the park, and he was the only one with a car. So we are like 16, 17, and he was the only one with a car. So he dropped off some friends before we went to the apartments. So we told him, we was like, "Oh, I'll meet you in the apartments. About to go drop off the couple of friends." So we was like, "All right." We walked to the apartments. We go to the apartments and we're just hanging out, a couple of us, like three of us, waiting for him to pull back up. We were there like 15 minutes and a lady walked by that she sees us out here all the time. She was like, "Hey, I think one of your friends is over there. He got shot." We was like, "What?" So we
Hmm.
ran to where she said, and sure enough, it was one of my friends laying in the middle of the street, gasping for air. So we ran up to him. We was looking, and he was holding his neck, and we was telling him to breathe. It was like, breathe, breathe. And as he was doing that, he tried to look back, and in the instant, he just froze right where he was. Like he froze. And the ambulance lady said, "Oh, he dead. He just died." It was like, what? So that kind of messed me up for a long time because it's a person that I'm with every day. It's like an everyday type of guy. So that changed my whole thought about things. Like, wow. And then I watched him take his last breath. I know he heard me screaming, breathe. And he tried to look at us and he just couldn't. So that kind of messed me up. I'm gonna say like it just took me off of everything. It just took me into the streets even deeper. So after that, I ended up going to prison. Um, just a lot of things start happening around the time. I did 3 years in prison my first time, 2 years the second time. Um, it kind of just it made me not care about things anymore. It made me not care about what they call the other side. I just got full fledged with it, and within that, I paid for it every step of the way. However, I still have. So I was raised by my dad. My mom wasn't around. She left me when I was like 8, 9, and he used to always install in me, the about gang banging and why it's not good and why I need to get up out of it and stuff like that. So it hurt. I lost more friends after that. Um, it wasn't until I got shot, which was
Hmm.
in 2007, and almost lost my life when I actually started to pull back. You know, um, realizing that because in that atmosphere when I got shot, nobody did nothing. So it kind of made me see like what is this for? People, I can die and nobody will care. Like,
Mm.
um, so I start being an advocate against what we were doing, pulling the gangs together. I was doing different things, having meetings with the older people, and we was trying to come to some kind of understanding. Um, one time we had Nick Cannon, because he's from San Diego,
Mm.
come down and talk to us in the YMCA. And he was ready to fund something for us out there, but certain gangs, certain people from them gangs, they wasn't trying to hear that. So I just kind of fell back and basically I started going back to the mosque. Well, I had a couple of older homies, older friends that used to be from the gang, and they became fruit. They became Nation of Islam. And one of them in particular, Brother Eric, it's my brother. He was the captain in San Diego. He was the captain for a long time.
Mm.
And him and my other brother, Ansir, I believe that's what he called himself, man. But Brother Will, right? Uh, they used to be on me every day because they knew where I was. They knew where I hung out. So they would come every day with the papers and all that. And they would just come and just talk to me and all that and lure me to the mosque. So in 2010, this is when I changed everything. 2010, basically, I started to go this way going this way. We went to Savior's Day. I didn't,
Mm.
well, we had the meeting, well, not the meeting, but we had the viewing of the Savior's Day at our mosque. And I had brought like 3 or 4 of my friends with me, not knowing that, we was going to be in there for like 5 hours, because the minister, he got down on that 2010 message on
Yes, sir.
Savior's
Yes,
Day.
sir. Yes,
Oh
sir.
my God. So I sat there and watched and heard everything. And I was just taken back, like, whoa, he really said that. Like, he really, when he was talking about his experience and he was talking about, his trip overseas and all that, putting it into detail. It was like, that was one of the best speeches I've heard. It's more, but that's one of the best because
Yes,
it
sir.
really it made me start going back to watching his old videos. Like, even though I'm born and raised in it, when I was younger, I never really sat down and watched a whole lecture. I haven't. I used to wake up to it. I would hear it throughout the day, because my dad be playing it. But personally, I never actually sat down and watched one. That was like the first one I actually watched in its entirety. And ever since I was just watching, I started the second one. I remember this because these are the ones that really had me like going. The second one was Power, the 1985 in Madison Square Garden. And that's when I was like, oh yeah, it's we're it's time to change. This is not what we're supposed to be doing, y'all. So I had a lot of influence, but a couple of friends followed, some didn't. I lost friends, so it was like a big separation that happened. It was okay because I believe I prayed to know who was my friends and who wasn't. God does his thing on his time, not on yours. So I found out, so as I was moving around, because I moved from San Diego, I moved to LA, stayed up there with my girl for a little while. And then from LA, I ended up moving to Utah. I moved to Utah for 3
Okay.
years for
Okay.
work.
Okay.
That was an experience. And it wasn't until I got to Las Vegas when I actually registered and went full fledged. I got to tell you, the brothers here are they different. Like, they something different, because you got to understand, like, this is a place called Sin City. And if you can refrain from sin and be on the straight and narrow in a city like this, I look up to these brothers, like the sisters as well. But it's captivating. It's just like, wow. And So it made me really just go all the way in, you know?
Mhm.
So I registered here. I didn't get to register in my hometown, but I registered here. Um, and I owe a lot of that to the brothers in San Diego as well, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All
Yeah.
praise due to Allah. But brother Ali, we got so many talking points that we coming right back. And man, I'm glad that Allah spared your life and that you are here with us. I want to first of all let's honor your parents. May we have their names.
Uh, Brother Terry and uh, Sister Ruth.
Praise
Yes.
be to Allah. Beautiful. Yes, sir. May Allah be pleased with your father. May Allah continue to heal you. I mean, be with your mother and sending positive energy to your family. Brother
Praise.
Delane from he gave me a long name. Saint Miracle. Okay, Saint Mexico. All right, shout out to him and shout out to everybody who's watching as well. We have a brief. We got to come back to you with the shooting incident. We got to come back to that, but also we have a brief 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. We are grateful for every like, share, and subscription. Thank you to each person who sends anonymous cash apps. It truly helps the podcast keep going. We're coming right back to our brother Wali. One moment. And we are live with the People's Podcast. Street Premier Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Please reach out if you need any of that. Sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country. Sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ. My two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. Okay, excellent. Yeah, perfect. All right, right back to our brother Wali, but we have one more. S Enterprise, Barber and Beauty Products, plant-based brush wave. They have a website, kosherwave.com with a K, kosherwave.com, 770-997-6000. They are traveling to Africa, working on trade and commerce with their wave brush, brother, and other supplies. Brother Jeffrey Sirsi Muhammad, Sister Stephanie Lasan Muhammad, thank you very much from S Enterprise. And we're right back to Brother Wali. Can you let us know? This is I was the pallbearer a few years ago for one of another brother, a family friend, and someone I consider to be family, a nation baby who was the victim of gun violence and is prevalent with many believers and the children of believers. So I'm always very sensitive to that. You know,
Yeah.
man, shout out to the survivors. My brother, as well as my father, have both been survivors by the grace of Allah of gun violence. So I'm very intrigued and interested in that. And let us know what happened, brother. How did that change your life?
Well, so for one, I didn't even want to go to this specific event, you know. So my little cousin, one of my little cousins, he was a rapper at the time. And he used to do shows at these little clubs and little pubs and bars. There's one particular bar called the Shamrock that we usually don't go to because it's considered an enemy territory. And you know, it's like they had my friends, they had just started going there, like so they felt like it was okay. So one particular night, he's telling me like, "Hey, I want you to come see me perform." I was like, "Man, I don't want to go over there." I was like, "Y'all should be careful even going over there," you know. So another friend, "Oh, you going to the club tonight? You going to the thing?" I was like, I wasn't planning on it, but he just kept bothering me. So I was like, "All right, I'm gonna come." So I ended up going, and I was standing outside, and I was standing outside for a minute. I had a short conversation with a guy from the other side I knew from prison. and he was, we talked for a minute, and he walked off. So I went inside. I went inside for a minute, didn't think nothing of it, and uh, after he performed, I came back outside, and I was like, "Yeah, that was kind of tight, man. I'm glad I came. I seen that." Woo, woo. Um, so it was three of us standing in front of the door. Next thing you know, it was my friend. He was facing like diagonal. He was facing like this, and I'm like this against the wall. And he was like, "Hey, look!" He was like, "Watch out, watch out!" And they just start shooting. So I tried to. Well, I did turn around and I ran, but as I was running, I got hit with a bullet in my ankle. In my ankle, when it kind of threw me in the air, and I landed on my face and my finger. It kind of bent my finger, and they were still shooting. I'm seeing sparks on the ground. So I roll because I'm right by the street. I roll under a car. I get up under a car, and they're still shooting. So I'm like, whoa. So as I'm under this car, because I'm feeling like they're about to come shoot me up under the car, because it was getting closer and closer. And I tried to grab the pipes up under the car, but it was a hot, so I was grabbing them still, but I'm like, ah. So I just start feeling myself like going wanting to go to sleep. I start feeling like I wanted to go to sleep, and I just was like, okay, whatever. I just gave up, kind of gave up. As soon as I did that, one of my friends grabbed my arm and pulled me into the club. And when they pulled me into the club, they was just like, "Oh, he bleeding, he really bleeding." And I just heard a lot of that and screaming from some of my homegirls and all that. And then minutes later, ambulance came, and I just remember going in and out of consciousness. And my friend kept slapping me like, "No, don't go to sleep, don't go to sleep." Then the ambulance came, cut my clothes, and I next thing I know, I woke up in the hospital. That's how fast, like, and then when I woke up in the hospital, it was 2 days later.
Mm,
And I had already been through 7 surgeries, I think.
mm,
I think 7 or 8 surgeries I went through. And so I woke up in the hospital 2 days later, and my girlfriend was right by me, and just looking at me. And I looked at her like, "What's going on?" I didn't know what really happened. It had to come back to me. So I'm like, "Oh wow." So I looked down and I'm like, "Oh, that really happened. Like I really did get shot, huh?" So they was like, "Yeah, man, you were minutes from losing your life because it hit a main artery in your ankle. It cracked my tibia and my fibula to where I got a plate on it, permanent plate on my tibia and fibula, and it ripped my Achilles tendon. Like I don't even have one. My big toe doesn't bend." So he told the doctor that did my surgery. He told me what he had to go through to put my leg back together, and he was telling me I'm lucky, and if you were just minutes late, you would have bled out. Like we had to give you like a lot of blood transfusions. He said, and I was just like, wow. So when that happened, so I'm gonna say it like this too, because like I say, I didn't want to be there. And when they were telling me that, I'm telling them, I don't think that's a good idea. That's some intimate territory. We ain't supposed to be over there like that. So at that night, I felt comfortable because they were showing me guns. Like, "Oh, we good. There's some friends across the street. We good. We good. Don't worry about it." So I thought about it. I was like, okay, all right. But when that happened, nobody did nothing. Nobody did nothing. And, the club got shot up. And so I ended up in the hospital. 2 days later, I wake up. So for me, I have always been there for my folks. And it didn't matter for what. I have always been there for them. They can call me at 2 in the morning. I'm going. So for me, I felt like I was abandoned. You know what I mean? I felt like I was left for dead. So that that was my first initial thought, like, this ain't worth it. It kind of, you know, after I got healed up and stuff, it kind of, I went and basically was mad at my gang. I was mad at a lot of people, getting in fights. It was a lot of stuff. So after that, it was just I had when was that? That was in 20. So I was on a gang injunction at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So after I healed up, kind of, not even the whole year, they violated me for being on for being around gang members. I was on a gang injunction. So I had a cane. I was still on a cane. I got off my crutches and I had to go do a county year. So I went to jail for 6 months, like not even the whole year after I got shot. So when that happened, and the same year, 2007 January, I had a son, my first and only son. And I got shot. So '07 January, I had a son. I got shot in September of '07. So after that, a couple months, I went to jail. And when I went to jail, that's when I really start reflecting. I really just start thinking of my life. Like, what is, dude, you almost died. But like, I was just thinking about my life. Like, what is going on? Like, and my dad, so when I got out, I remember my dad was like, "So you had enough? Like, you see a lot and spared you. You still trying to be a part of that?" And one day he was just like, "Hey, you remember what you told me when you was a kid that you said you seen Elijah Muhammad?" And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "I told you that?" I was like, "I don't remember." But then weeks later, just out of nowhere, it just came to me like it was yesterday. Like I started remembering because we lived in Long Beach at that time. And I did. I started remember. I told him, I was like, "Oh yeah." And you didn't believe me. So we start clowning about it. And then I was just like, whoa, hold on. That did happen. So yeah, it just made me go. When I got out, I was going to the mosque every week. I was doing all that. But the problem with me being in my city at that time, the police didn't like me.
Mm-hmm.
So they would mess with me. They was messing with me so much. And my girlfriend at the time she lived in Anaheim, really, on the outskirts of LA. And she was like, "Man, you need to just come move up here with me. Like, this is too much. They doing too much." And that was like, it took me a few months, but I ended up taking their invitation and I left. And that's when I really just got focused. I really got focused. And I was reading and then, it just snapped like, yeah, that life is over. Yeah.
Beautiful. I praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. So many people are bearing witness and sending love to our brother Wali. Um, Thank you very much, Sister Naima, Sister Nicole, Sister Miriam. Um, Brother Maze X says, "Hey, this is sad. Feel so bad. People sending positive energy. Hope you feel better, brother. Sending healing.
Sir.
Man, praise be to Allah. And shout out to everybody who's watching people's podcasts. Thank you all very much to each person who's watching. I wanted to, what advice, because we got to come to the baby plane and your vision of the baby plane, the messenger, all of that. But gang violence, young people, what advice would you give to people who have to realize that you might slide for somebody who may not ride for you? And that's the reality. What advice would you give to people, just putting themselves first?
I think so. The problem, what I see the real problem, what it is when you lose somebody close to you, you feel like you have to. That's the problem. Like these kids nowadays, when they lose somebody, they feel like they have to go ride for their friend or their cousin or their brother. But it's for me, I'm gonna say we need to direct our energy to something else because it's too much Okay, so now this is the era where drill music and all this stuff. I didn't have that growing up, you know. I grew up on Pac and stuff like that. So for me, it's like we need to think of another option. Like, cause I'm gonna say it like this. I remember when we had a you can call it a peace treaty, right? But one day I was walking to the where was I? I was going to the taco shop. Yeah, I was going to the taco shop. And this is at a time where there was no violence going on in the city. Like we all, I forgot why. It had to do something with something that happened, like a police killing or something. But I remember that we told the whole city, we was like, we ain't shooting at each other right now. Like, ain't none of
Mm,
this going on.
mm, mm,
I was walking to the Mexican taco shop. It was at night, and I seen a Ford Explorer, tinted windows, and the back window rolled down. Person had gloves on and he had a mask on, but all I seen, he put his hand out first with the gun, and he had a red rag on it. And I was looking, I'm like, oh. And when he put his face out, seen he was white. Put it like that. It was a white dude, and I was
mm,
looking, and I'm like, oh wow. So that came to me like, oh, when it's peaceful, I believe that they go around shooting to
mm,
spark it back up.
mm,
Because,
mm,
like I say, it's like the problem with this gang violence. We all know what we need to do. I believe that the brothers they know what's going on. They see the climate. They see, you know what I'm saying. It's just when you lose somebody, it's hard to let go. It's hard to say I ain't doing nothing for them, or it's hard to love the other side. It's hard to do that when you lose somebody you love. So if we can get past that, if we can try to tell these youngsters that, for one, don't put yourself in these situations to where you can get shot and killed. Always stay vigilant. But for two, you live by the gun, you die by the gun. Them things is real. So it's just we need to try to teach them a different way of releasing their anger. Like we don't have no, what's those like, the boys and girls clubs. We don't have no place where we can take them, where they can come to 24 hours a day, whatever it is, for them to sit there and talk to somebody, or, get some kind of help, because we don't have them resources.
mm,
But
mm,
I feel that if we can, to ease the pain of losing somebody, it needs to be some type of alternative for them to release that anger somewhere else, because that's the hard part. That's what draws people in when you lose somebody, and then it's just, so it becomes a ping pong, it becomes a, back and forth. And I do believe that the the enemy does, when they see it calm, they go and do something to spark it back up, because they see that's the trigger. That's the trigger that makes us continue this. So if uh we do need some kind of control, like we need some organization designed just to pay attention to stuff like that. Shootings and fights, anger, anything. But because they know that that's our trigger. When we lose somebody, that's what sparks everything back up. So if we can find a solution to that, I believe we would succeed in bringing our brothers and sisters together in unity, because everybody knows and sees, that it's that time. Everybody's feeling it. Everybody wants to do it. It's just you got more followers than leaders, but you got people that act like chiefs and don't want to be Indians. You know what I mean? So it's at that we're at that era. but we're there. We're at the door of unity. It's just we keep getting pushed back by this enemy. I believe we be right at the door, and then next thing you know, somebody's got killed, and then it's back home. So yeah, we need to find some solution for that. Other than I don't think that I don't think that oh, and then with the music, of course. Oh my God, this music has gotten out of hand. I mean, they can see that this is now rappers are getting killed more than anything. This has never happened the way it's been happening. Getting indicted, killed, all of this. And then, they let us get to YouTube and people on YouTube with podcasts and so-called, gangsters on there gossiping basically about each other and each other's gangs. So that's another tool against us. Really, we can use it to uplift us, but it's for the wrong people. It's against us because some people just want to be heard and seen, and be something that they're not. So yeah.
Okay, great. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. People are bearing witness and showing love in the comments. Um, thank you, Brother Mazel. Thank you, Brother Benny. Sister Amina Hanan says so true. That's also how they get funding for law enforcement and other agencies. Violence decreases and layoff starts. So they uh okay, so basically, yeah, so she's agreeing with you. Thank you very much, Sister Amina and Hanan, and thank you everyone who continues to watch. All right, let's talk about how you commented on the People's Podcast page on YouTube. I wrote right back and said, brother, would you message me? Let us know about we'll start with the vision of the no, we'll start with the baby planes. You sent me some pictures and let us know what it was like, sir.
Oh man. Let's see. Well, I believe I don't remember the first time I actually my first time, but it's been recurring. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
um one night I was just staring in the sky. I like to look in the sky. That's just what I do. I stare at the moon. I look in the sky. And one day I was just looking, and the big brightest star, one of the biggest brightest stars, just start moving. So I was looking. I'm like, oh, whoa, this thing started moving. So in my head, I'm like, let me see if I can record it. Let me see if I can. I grabbed my phone. As I was going to record it, it just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what kind of got me to scan the areas now. Like, just kept looking. I just kept looking. And one day, I prayed. I asked Allah. I was like, Allah, is these things real? Are you real? Are you in here? I'm asking them questions. I'm asking them, like, is this real? Like, because I know what I just seen. That ain't no satellite. That ain't no airplane. Um, and I asked, will I be? Can I asked, could I record one day? Because
Mm-hmm.
when that happened, that was happening a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But every time I got to try to record it, couldn't record it. It disappeared. So just recently, since I moved to Las Vegas, basically, I've been here 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm in the north side still, but it was deep north where you could see the mountains. They call it the behind the mountains are is supposed to be Area 51.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, and one day I was looking, I was on my balcony and I was just gazing at the mountains, and I seen something just come up, and it had the little five lights, like 5, 6 lights, just blinking. And I was like, oh. And my girl was there at that time. I was like, look, look, look. And she came out and I pointed to her. She seen it. So I was like, oh. I was like, "La, can I record? Can I record this?" So I grabbed my phone. Sure enough, I was able. I think I sent. Well, no, that's the video I was trying to send you. And I was able to record that. As I'm
Exactly.
recording, I think I got about 50 seconds of it, and then it just went away. Um, And ever since, I've been seeing them a lot. I see them a lot. And now, ever since I asked, though, man, can I please get this so people won't think I'm crazy? Can I get it? and I've been able to record them by the grace of Allah. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And for everyone who's watching, inshallah, we'll get a part two. I want to make sure that the technical side of it is so good and so clear that when we share the screen on his, what I'm saying, I'll just let you share the screen and we'll watch it
Yeah.
because the pictures are super clear, video super clear, but I just wanted to make sure that it came through because I didn't want to share the screen. They'd be like, Josh, it looks ghetto. So we want to make sure that we get it
Yes,
A1
sir.
for our brother. People saying, praise be to Allah, excellent, truth and salvation. This is the teachings, beautiful, praise be to Allah, excellent. Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about the youngest age you were when you saw it. Let's talk about the messenger, seeing the Most High Muhammad. Let's talk about that. Wow.
Oh, so my dad always kept a picture of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad in the house, somewhere it'd be in the dining room table, the living room, but he always kept that picture. And on the bookshelf, he always had, the message to the black man. He had all the books. So I all my life, that his image has always been in my head, right? So I think I was like 10 or 11. I was walking to school. I was walking to elementary school. And at this time, I believe, my dad was listening to one of his lectures. So I left. I was leaving. Like I said, I grew up waking up to it,
Mm,
like.
mm, 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 mm.
So I just remember walking, and it was a man had on all black. He had on a beanie, as if like he had the beanie in the shape of like kind of like the kufi, right? He had the beanie like that, but he had on the black hoodie and glasses, just like the messenger had, the same kind of glasses. So I'm looking, and I'm walking like this, and he's walking this way, right? He was getting closer and closer. And I'm like, hold on, that is like that man on my dad's wall. And I'm just looking and I'm looking. The closer he got, I just was like, that is him. I was like, that looked just like that man on that wall. And right when he was passing me and about to pass me, looked down and smiled at me. And I was like, and I just kind of froze. I was like, what the? And then next thing you know, I turn around and I look, I see him walking, and he turned the corner. So as he turned that corner, I ran over there. I was running to go see him. I wanted to ask him, who are you? Like, I hit the corner, I'm looking, and there was no sight of him. I didn't see him. I was like,
Mm,
where
mm,
did he go? I looked inside it was like a little shopping center right here. And I looked in there and he was gone. Like
mm,
there was
mm,
no sign of him, nowhere.
mm, mm, mm.
So I was just like, wow, what was that? And I'm a kid, you know what I mean? So I remember running back home, telling my dad. I was like, Dad, I just seen him. I just seen him just now. And that's at the time my dad, he kind of, at this time, he wasn't he wasn't all the way in it in the teachings again. It took him a little bit later. But he was like, that's at the time too. I don't think he really believed that uh, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad was alive either at that time.
Mm,
Just
mm,
this was
mm.
like 88, 89, about 89.
Okay, okay.
So, he kind of got mad at me and brushed it off like, dude, you ain't seen him, whatever. Go to school. Get out of here. You're supposed to be at school.
Yes, sir.
So I'm running to school now because I'm late. It wasn't until 2011, no, about 2011 that it came back to me. So after I watched the 2010 about his vision and all that, I was like, oh, wow. So in 2011, my dad was staying with me at this time. And he was like, remember when you told me that you seen the messenger? And I was like, I did? It's like, nah, I don't remember that. But I was like, okay. I was like, where was it? Oh, Long Beach? Yeah, okay, nah. It wasn't until weeks later, it was like something just clicked. It was just like, it clicked in my head. And I remembered it like it was yesterday. And I went and
Mm,
told my dad, I was like, Dad, that did happen. I said, that did happen. And I was like, yeah, I remember seeing it. I told him detail to detail what he had on, how he looked, everything. I remember that. And the way I felt, I had butterflies in my stomach, especially when he looked down and smiled at me. As I'm thinking, they look like that man on the wall. And I told him all that. And he was like, yeah, you probably did, you know. And he was like, man, that might be your sign to get all the way in. Go ahead and register and this and this and that. This was like 2012, 2011, yeah. And I was going to register around that time. It was just things start happening, you know, and I just ended up putting it on the back burner again to register. But I already knew where I wanted to be. I already knew that this was what I'm about to do, you know. So
Praise be
yeah.
to God. Go ahead, Brother Wali. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. People are bear witness. Brother Benny, Sister Mina. Um, man, excellent. People just showing you love. Thank you, everyone who was watching and continue to show you love. Now, when you see baby planes, what color are they? And are you able to see anything besides the blinking lights?
Well, one particular time, yeah, I seen um so I gotta send this to you because one particular time in the clouds, so it was a lot of lightning going on outside, and I'm looking, and it was just this one big old cloud by itself. Because there wasn't that many clouds out there, but it was just one big old cloud. And as it was lighting up, I seen something shape. I seen a shape in there. And I was like, hold on, that looks like there's something in there. So I grabbed my camera and I started recording it. And it just kept flashing, and I'm seeing this object. You could see it's something in this cloud. And I'm trying to think if somebody there with me because I wanted them to see. Because it's been a couple times I was like, look, look, look. But on that night, no, I think I was by myself. So
Yes,
I
sir.
just started recording, and I was just looking, and I'm looking, and I'm like, that thing is letting out the lightning. I seen it with my own eyes, like, you know. So as I recorded it, sat on my couch, and I sat there, and I just looked at it again by myself. I just started looking at it and pausing it, and just was looking at it and pausing it. I still got it, and I was like, sure enough, there's something in that cloud. There was something in that cloud letting off that lightning. It wasn't just, you know what I mean? So um another time out here in Vegas, a lot of people seen this one. It was hovering over the strip.
Mm.
It was hovering over the strip. Uh all I seen really on that one was it was like I seen a red light and I seen a white light. It just kept flashing red and white, red and white, red and white. You know? And another time I was in Utah and I got them pictures too. I'm gonna send you these.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It was over my apartments. And you could see that thing like it looked like at first look, it looked like a big old airplane at first, but it didn't move. So I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking, and I'm like, oh my God. So I went and grabbed my phone. At that time, I don't know, I couldn't record it. So I just start snapping pictures of it. But sure enough, I got to actually see it. Like it was dark though, but I got to see the shape. I seen the shape and all that. But you know what it did? I was blinking. Next thing you know, it was a cloud. It turned into a cloud. Yeah, literally like kind of like turned into a cloud. And I was just like, oh wow. But I got to see that. That was the first time, and yeah, that was the first time I actually like seen it like clear, like wow. And Allah Akbar, you know, I was just like just going in, like wow. Allah, I'm able to see the wow. So
Praise.
yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, bro, Ali, and you already know people love this on people's podcast, so they love this type of content. We love this content, and I'm glad
Yeah.
that you were able to bear witness to the reality of the baby planes. And now, when you see them, have you ever been startled or been nervous?
No, not actually.
Okay, okay.
Not really. It was just more excitement. Like, oh my God, like I'm really looking at this. Like, and it's not a satellite, it's not an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's the feeling I get is excitement. It's like excitement, and I get happy. Like, wow, this is real. Like, so yeah, no, I don't. No, I never got nervous. It was just always excitement.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. People, of course, in the comments are saying all praise due to Allah, beautiful, excellent, all praise due to Allah. All right. Now, on a lighter note, sir. First of all, everybody, we got a book, Brother Wali, for part two, so we get the video footage and the pictures we're gonna have. I'm gonna allow him to share a screen, and we're gonna put on the whole performance for you all, and then let him take it step by step, inshallah. What is your favorite album of all time, sir?
Tupac, Me Against the World.
Okay, okay, biggest world. All right.
That's my favorite right there. Yes, sir.
So you saying Lord? So you saying Lord knows? I mean, wait. So we gonna be against the
Yep.
world? Yeah, Lord knows.
Yeah,
Okay.
Lord knows.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
ain't
yeah.
easy.
It ain't easy. Yes, sir. Yes,
No,
sir. Yes, sir.
all that. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, you can't go wrong with me against the world.
man.
It's a classic.
Yes, sir.
It's a
I
classic.
grew up on Tupac. Tupac. I mean, I listen to a little Biggie. I like Biggie too, but DMX, Tupac,
Okay. Tupac,
and
DMX.
Scarface. Them is my favorite. My favorite
Okay.
rapper.
So smile for me. You know what I'm saying? Smile with the Pac and the Scarface. Yes, sir. You can't go wrong
Yes,
with that.
sir.
All right. And people are saying yes. Thank you, Brother Wali, for this. And thank you, Brother Joshua, for holding this. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Sister Amina. And thank you for everyone who's always showing love. Our last question for you this evening, sir. What would you like your legacy to be, Brother Wali?
My legacy. Um, that I've okay. So I would say that I never gave up. I never gave in. Um, my heart was always for my people, no matter if I was an ex gang member or not. I felt like and I never looked at it like as gang banging. I didn't. It wasn't that. We were tribes. It was more like protecting where we're from. That's how we looked at it. Like we're protecting where we're from, not knowing, that this is some gang. You know, when you're young in the teenage years, you know, for me, I didn't look at it like that. It was more like this is our brotherhood. This is what we got to protect. But that I always did things from the heart. Like it wasn't fake. Nothing I ever done was fake. Uh, trustworthy, loyal. So me, my legacy, I just wanted to be known as I'm a real person that strives to seek the truth and to get to the truth about who we are, about who I am, about what it is I'm supposed to be doing while I'm here. Because I know it ain't just going to go hang out and stand outside and wait for people to shoot at us and we go shoot back. I know that that wasn't what we were here for. um, so I just wanted to be known that I never gave up, never gave in, and Allah permitted me to be here to actually witness the other side of what life is like, to learn when you get to these teachings. Oh my God, it opens up a whole new world for you because we're we're God's people. We all think in a righteous way, but we make ourselves do wrong things. That's a challenge for us. And then when you do it, we get rewarded. Like, oh yeah, homie, you did that. Knowing in the back of your head that wasn't right. So just more so that you can do whatever you put your mind to. Be true to yourself. I've always been true to myself. Even if it, like I say, I ain't got no friends no more. But even if you lose friends, family, it doesn't matter. Just be true to yourself. Be true to what you're thinking and what your heart is telling you to do. Don't go against that. And I just never gave in. I never gave up. And I always kept going. And I'm here. I'm blessed.
All praise to you so loud. Beautiful. Yes, sir. But thank you, Brother Wali. Thank you very much. And on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing
Thank you.
audience of the People's Podcast, we thank Allah for you and your many sacrifices. We're glad that you're with us and that your spirit is beautiful and high. Inshallah, I look forward to meeting you in person as well, Brother Wali.
Yes, sir. You as well. And I appreciate you. That's an honor and a privilege to be on
Yes,
here, brother. Thank
yes,
you
sir. Nine is
for
mine.
allowing
And,
me to
and
speak.
shout out to all the believers from San Diego, but Vegas as well. I interviewed you all student minister, another brother named Brother Juan from Vegas. Of course,
Yes, sir.
Captain Wayne and all the Vegas believers. Everybody showing
Yes,
love.
sir.
And, man, I gotta get back out to Vegas. I gotta get back out to Vegas.
Yes, sir. Come visit us, brother.
Yes, sir. All right. Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
Walaikum salam.
Thank you.